Welcome back, everyone. I'm Owen. You know who I am. Stu's behind camera over there somewhere. We're at Castle Combe, if you hadn't read what's behind me already. We're going to do something called the MA Track Battles. Today, we've got BMR's track prepared, well, it's a race car, Mark 5 Golf. It's a 2-litre turbo, it's 365 horsepower, actual race car. But that is going up against a diesel race car. Also a Mark 5 Golf, diesel from Darkside Developments. That is making 200, I think I heard him say 255 horsepower, something like that. So it's a diesel prepared race car against a petrol prepared race car. Who knows what the result's going to be? One's got a billion pounds-feet of torque, the other's got another 100 horsepower and is on slick tyres. There's a big comparison there. Really excited to see what's going to go on. It is a pilot. It's the first time we've done this. This is Castle Combe. Next time we try this, it's going to be at Blyton Park. We'd love your feedback on that. We want to know what cars you'd want to see race each other, what you want to see next, how we could improve it. But I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup of two completely different, but also the same cars at the same time. Let's go and have a chat to the drivers. This is weird.
Diva, isn't it?
Get the job done. I've been told to get the job done, so I'm going to get the job done, holding a microphone like a 90s news presenter. So I'm here with Ryan, is it?
That's me, yeah.
That is Ryan. We're here with Ryan. So Ryan works for Darkside Development. Well, you're pretty much Darkside Development.
Yeah, I own it. Yeah.
He owns it. Yeah, so that's a bit more than works. But anyway,
brother, so that's why there's a bit of confusion on who I may be.
Basically, Darkside Development. You can see our video before on this. Darkside have done a lot of development on this car. They're in a race series. What race series is it again, Ryan?
We race this in Turismo X, but next year we're going to probably be doing just Club Enduro, which is like 2 hours, sometimes 3 hour races, so it's endurance sort of spec.
So a 3 hour race for a car like this is quite something. To put a car under that sort of stress for that long. Is it a Mark 5 or a Mark 6 Golf?
Mark 5 chassis, Mark 6 front end, that's in need of a serious winter refresh.
So why is it that you've used a Mark 5 and not a Mark 6 whole car?
We just got offered a cheap shell that got a decent cage in, and that was a lot of the work already done for us, so we just said let's start with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, if we did it again we'd probably just build our own, because when you buy race cars that have already been raced, they've probably already been crashed as well. So.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a hard time. So I mean, we spoke about it before. We're going to talk a little bit about the car. It's a 2-litre TDI, 2-litre diesel engine, and what's the power and the torque figures in this?
On our dyno yesterday we got 255 horsepower, like 400 pounds of torque, but it's really flat from like 3,000 to 5 and a bit. It's 255 horsepower. So
it's incomparable to a petrol car. It's making less power, but the chassis and the brakes and the suspension, everything else is making up for that, I suppose.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we spent a long time getting the spring rates, the dampers, just the alignment settings, and I think we've got it. Not 100%. We could definitely improve it if we put loads of sensors on and got it. But I think putting somebody in the seat and saying, tell me what to improve, I don't think there's much we could do.
No, so you're right, you're pretty much on the peak of what you could do. Yeah. So Ryan uses V-Box, and we're involved with RACELOGIC before we even got involved in this. You guys have used this a lot anyway. Yeah,
we bug their support like all the time, asking them, can we do this, can we do that? And they do say to us that we're probably one of the people that tries doing things that's not in their manuals all the time. So it is quite a versatile tool, and I think if you're clever, you can make it do anything.
And you can record all sorts of data. So we're not going to go through the data so much for this car, because these guys know it like the back of their hand, and they've been using it. It's a good enough piece of kit to be used by motorsport companies, obviously. So that's what they're doing there. So I'm here with Martin. Martin's got this Mark 5 Golf, and we're just going to talk a little bit. Do you want to just give us a quick rundown? I know, obviously, this is no street car. Obviously,
no.
It's what's the general sort of the most top bullet point differences between this and a regular road car?
It's still running the BWI engine,
Yep.
which is what the GTI run, but obviously it's upped on power, so injector change. It's got a KO4 turbo, it's got a hard pipe kit, big forged intercooler. It's running about 365 bhp,
Okay.
about 375 foot-pounds of torque. So that's sort of the main differences really. It's injectors, turbos to get you to all that power.
Yeah.
If you want to go over that, you've got to start forging it and stuff like that. So we're sort of sitting there, and it's quite nicely sitting there. Runs a gripper LSD, still got standard 6-speed gearbox in, uprated drive shafts, uprated brakes, but they've got to be uprated again because they're not good enough for the series I'm in.
Not good enough to be fast enough for how you drive.
No, yeah, well, you need to stop later, and I'm stopping too early at the minute, so that's the issue with that. Suspension's BC at the minute. But that's getting changed because obviously for racing it needs to be a bit better than what it is. But the chassis is really good. So a Mark 5 chassis is what everybody sort of uses, and then bolts on Mark 6 or Mark 7 bits.
Oh, so the Mark 5 chassis is actually a bit better than the Mark 6?
Yeah, Mark 5 is what everybody seems to use, and you see Mark 6 and 7 fronts on the Mark 5.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. So what we're talking about today is this against another car, but I mean fundamentally, so it's not the internals of the engine haven't been changed.
No.
Generally, it's a 360 solid horsepower and it's
Yeah.
reliable. Doesn't really go wrong that much, I presume.
No, it did when I first got it. We had some issues with boosting and bits and pieces, just the way it's put together, really. But
Yeah.
we've sort of sorted that out over the. We've done 6 races in it now, and it's just managed to finish its last race.
Yeah.
And I've done my personal best time in it, beating the BM times.
Oh, you're having fun in it. That's the
So
main
I'm
thing.
having real good fun in it because I really feel confident in it. So
Yeah.
it's got more to come.
Yeah.
Definitely more to come. So I'm pleased to see that happen. And we'll do more over the winter and be ready for next season, and hopefully then win our class next season.
Well, there we go. So there's a quick rundown of the car. That's what we're looking at with this. 365 horsepower and
75 foot-pounds of torque.
375 foot-pounds of torque.
Okay, so just to let you know that this thing is bloody annoying, but it's all we've got to work with at the minute, so we're dealing with that.
So cute,
I know, it's cute, isn't it? It's beautiful. Right, anyway, so the breakdown is they've gone out, they've had a bit of a practice, had a bit of fun, they've sorted out the cars, they've dialed them in, they've done whatever they needed to do. But now the actual action starts. The rules are you go out together. We're going to try it together. Maybe next time we'll do it one by one. We don't know. But we're going to send them out together. They're going to have 3 hot laps. So 1 warm up and then they go. They can start side by side. They can do whatever they want when they come around that first bend, ready for that straight. But that's how we're going to dictate the winner at the end is by the fastest lap, not who's in front. So that's all we're going to aim for. But it's going to be quite an interesting race. It's diesel versus petrol.
Who doesn't want to see that? I mean, for anyone else, if you saw both the cars parked up, you'd be forgiven for thinking that they're just 2 race cars that are the same thing, but they couldn't be more different in terms of the way they're powered. So
Right.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Is the extra 100 and whatever pounds-feet of torque in the diesel going to make much more difference? The difference in the drivers, one's a professional race driver, the other one is a pretty decent, I don't know if he's like a qualified race driver, but you know, he's a very, very experienced track driver. So yeah.
I think this is going to be more. I don't know. It's weird. This is why we've had this debate, and this is why we thought this would be a good first battle: is a petrol versus diesel, Mark 5 Golf versus Mark 5 Golf.
Yeah.
I think we'll go into more of it when they're out on track, and we'll have a talk on the hill to watch them come round. But
yeah.
I think it's going to make for an interesting match.
Who doesn't want to see petrol versus diesel? I do.
I do.
Let's
I hope
get
you
to it.
guys do. Let's have a look. Give me my mic, bitch.
There we go.
Right, let's get up on the bank then. So Joey's in front. He's talking. Just had to reiterate the rules. It's 1 warm-up lap, and then it's 3 hot laps. So obviously we do have the room to have them side by side here. I think when we go to our home in Blyton, it may be a different layout, but I think it's going to be pretty good.
Castle Combe have done us. I mean, this is like, thanks to RACELOGIC. Look at this view. I mean, it's like we've virtually got it to ourselves.
I'm actually quite excited.
Well, I'm very excited.
Obviously, they're just literally going around now and just warming the tyres up, and as soon as they get here, it's 3 laps.
So it's the last corner that is toe down on the last corner of the first lap, right?
Yeah. Be really interesting to see, and obviously we've just found out that Darkside have actually never driven the Golf on this track.
Ryan's never driven around this track actually. So
it's coming out for these laps and he's going back on the truck. And
well,
they're
no, he
going
said
home.
no, sorry, I apologise, Ryan. He says he has driven down this track in other cars.
Yeah, but not in the Golf.
Not in this car. Not in this car.
So it'll be interesting to see because obviously Martin's not done this track at all.
No.
Which will just add to it. So
Martin's got another 100 horsepower.
Yeah, but then he's got the torque in the Golf. He's got another 100
yeah,
torque.
yeah.
So, what do you guys reckon? Petrol or diesel?
Do you reckon?
They've never done this track in that car, but here they come anyway. So. Right, yeah, but this is the warm up. But here we go.
Right, here we go. This is the first.
And they're off.
Let's
You
see.
know what? Down that straight. It's
Let's
around
see
this
if that
corner.
100 horsepower does make up for it.
Not massively at the minute by the looks of things. Actually looks like the Golf's off.
Who'd have thought? Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out. It's only literally just the first corner, but the Golf looks... The pace car,
No, he's given up.
yeah, he realised what they were. But that was quite interesting, actually.
We've got.
But now we've got corners coming up. It's
Well, yeah.
Who's got the nuts for that, really? But I don't know.
Jeez. I'm on the
gonna be
edge a
good
little
fun.
bit. I mean, I suppose we'll know. It's a fast circuit, so that extra 100 horsepower should make up for any error or any
Yeah.
you know. I mean, there's a lot on the table there.
But again, it's down to balls, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like me driving around the track versus you driving around the track in the TT, it is about balls. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
because the cars, it's a comparable car, isn't it? Can't even hear it come.
Cool,
There
that.
does look like there's a bit of a gap behind.
There is, yeah.
But which Golf is that?
That is the diesel.
Jeez, he's flying!
Look at him go.
that!
Jeez, and the petrol is
Right,
falling
so
right behind.
that 365 horsepower.
But you've also got to bear in mind he's on slicks, so it can take a little while longer to
For it
warm up
to
that
warm up.
tyre. So
Okay.
what actually may happen now, because we're doing it on time,
Yeah.
not who's in front.
Yeah.
Maybe now he's on the catch up with the slicks.
True.
So that can
And
make a big
the
difference.
Darkside car, if you reliable information from what you mentioned was that it's not on slicks, it's on
It's on semi-slicks.
ADO. I don't know
Yeah,
what
some
cars they were, some
type.
road type.
But yeah, so it may have just taken that extra lap to get the heat into the slicks, and now he's going to throw it.
When I was talking
Could
to
well
Ryan,
be.
he reckoned there's a second there's a second advantage depending on which tyre you go for. If you're on slicks, he reckons there's easily a second on slicks. Obviously, depending on what sort of driver you are and how skilled or capable.
Yeah.
So if there's a second on the table there, and he said, I don't know, could go either way.
Well, we'll see on if there's any gain or less, because that was a big gap.
That was a fair
Here he
old gap.
comes. So let's have a look at the gap now. So what's this? Lap 3. This is the last lap
this
they're
is the
coming
diesel
round.
one. No, this is lap 2 after the warm up, I think. Wow.
Yeah, that is a big difference. So the petrol is sitting way behind.
Yeah, that's another half.
That's seconds.
That's seconds, yeah.
If we're going to if we're going to back up Martin in the petrol Golf, you've got to bear in mind he didn't build this from the ground up. He
No.
bought it as a car.
No.
And he's learning each time. This is probably his 7th outing in that. But Darkside have built their car from a
Tune, mat,
diesel, the lot.
suspension, I don't know.
So they've gone through the whole build, and so he knows the insides and outs of that car.
I have to say, I'm a bit surprised at that. And that's the proof. That is the proof that power isn't everything.
Yeah.
Straight away, that's all day long.
Just to add
that's
to the
proof.
pressure, Jamie's there.
Jamie's out as well. He's throwing that around.
Proper car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I reckon Darkside's going to come round about now.
Sit and wait.
Yeah, there it comes. He's on it.
He's flying. He is
That
flying.
is fast. So this is now the final lap.
It probably only revs to about 5,000 RPM.
Oh! He threw it in there.
What you got to remember also, I suppose from a spectator's perspective, when you can hear both cars coming around in the different drivers, you can hear how much tyre squeal there is from that diesel, how hard he must be pushing into the corner.
Yeah.
365 horsepower.
That is bonkers.
There's a large gap there, but that gap doesn't look any bigger than lap 2.
So this could be down to timing. This is what's interesting. It doesn't matter who's out in front. It does in a real race, but this is track battles. We are down about timings, not the actual position.
Yeah.
So it'll be quite interesting. Obviously, I'm not sure if that was the last one. I've lost count.
I think they're just out having fun now by the looks of things.
There's also a difference, is the fact is that it's an open track day and we're trying it on an open track day. We've got a few other YouTubers and other people here, but when we get Blyton will be the track where we can see it all and it's just for us. So it's like the home of this. But again, as I said, we need more information, or whatever you think's best to do it. Whether send them both out or put them out one by one to get a free track.
We could give people handicaps. If someone's got if someone isn't on professional tyres, or is this both from at the same time?
I think this is both at the same time.
And this is a bit. This is a bit closer. Oh, he's let him. Okay, so he's let him get round.
Yeah.
And that cornering speed there.
Oh, look at that. They are off.
And that is where the power's coming in, because as they're going up the straight, you can see that gap widening as the petrol Golf gets further and further ahead.
It is obviously, it's got it on the straights, but this is quite a straight track, so that's why I'm thinking.
It's a fast track.
So I reckon what this is Darkside going, we'll sit back a bit and we'll let you come up.
Yeah. And then run it again.
But the other thing, that's
noisy,
loud
isn't it?
for him
It's
again.
loud,
Jamie,
yeah.
sort that out. But other than that, if that is the case and he's letting him come round, I would say they'll probably come back in that maybe, or that's Darkside calling it down.
Maybe.
Being a diesel and that. Or it's got a little bit hot and he's had to back it off.
Yeah, possibly.
Or maybe he's happy with one of the 2 lap times that he got.
Interestingly, you could see when they came around this corner here, as the diesel got on the gas, he started to come up around the side of the petrol car. So maybe the extra torque that's in the engine. Look, they're still quite close together.
Right, we don't know how many laps we're on now, but they're both still going. I think this is just for fun now.
There we go, look.
The corner, that Golf catches right up. It's the torque out of the corner,
The
isn't it?
diesel Golf is pushing him around the corners. Look, he's right tight on him there. And then as they're accelerating, I would expect to see a gap widen up there, but it doesn't look like there is one.
Unless they are slowing down.
Unless
But
they're
it doesn't really matter on how many laps they have. At the end of the
No,
day,
no,
we're
no,
just
we're
going
looking for a
to
time.
we'll base it off the times.
Yeah. That Beamer sounds good, doesn't it?
It's always induction with
Always,
M3s.
yeah.
Always induction. Oh, Jamie! No! Everyone live! That was Jamie going off the track. That is when you go run out of talent, or did he have talent to start with? We don't know.
It was understeering quite significantly.
There was maybe no talent to start with, but we will go with that.
He's a mean bastard.
We won't take it. We may have to put that. Did you get that? Brilliant.
Good.
Well done. We'll wind him right up with that one.
I think what happens in a situation where you're on track.
Here they come. Are they slowing right down? That looks slow, doesn't it? Yeah, he's had enough now. He's just going for a tester, so we'll call it there. Obviously, that was a lot of stuff. We'll probably only use 3 laps of that.
Yep.
But yeah, really good outcome. There he goes. I think it was Darkside. If we're going to put it on the times.
Looking at that, it looks like, from the camera's perspective and from where we are, I think it was Darkside.
Yeah.
But we'll have to go back and chat to the drivers and find out.
Yep. Let's go and have a look.
Alrighty then.
There's a problem with the what?
So, how did you think that went? What was your sort of overall sort of impression of the comparison between the cars?
That's unreal handling.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that and watch it. Do you know what
Trust me, I
I mean?
know.
And I've obviously got under brake on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But mine's like bobbling and moving about. Obviously, I've got to do all that yet, but you can just see what you can do with them because that just sits and goes round.
Yeah.
I'm braking at tower to try and settle the car a little bit before I turn left because it's moving around everywhere. He's had a little lift and not even braking off. Why is his brake lights not coming off?
You were saying?
No, so I was trying to say there, because obviously I noticed that the gap just got bigger.
Yeah.
So was that down to slicks, or like were they not warm enough, or was it?
It wasn't warm enough to start with. I could have done with 2 laps, but it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I got on it second lap and sort of thingy, but then he just left me through cornering speed.
Yeah, I think when I was sat behind you,
You probably could have caught me.
yeah.
You've gone past me.
yeah,
Bet.
oh yeah, fairly easily. I'd have thought, not trying to like boast off about it all, but yeah, I think if that were a race situation, it'd have just been right. First time you braked early, boom,
You'd
and
have gone up, yeah.
try and drive off.
I thought it was epic. I went with the diesel, even
Yeah.
though I've not gone with it, just because obviously the low down torque when you're coming out.
Yeah.
And obviously you built this car,
Yeah.
so you know the ins and outs of that car. Not in a rude way, but you bought that
I
car.
bought this and I'm trying to transform it.
Yeah,
and change it, which is
Yeah.
why I've got to do more stuff to it to get to this sort of level where we can go round corners.
I did notice when I came over, also when you guys were talking, when I came over, I just briefly caught sight of the brakes on the front of the car.
God, yeah.
I mean, I mean, I would imagine, I know you've got, your tyres aren't slicks, but you can allow for braking probably a bit later.
Yeah. They were probably in every corner at least half a second just on brakes.
Really?
Then mid corner, it's just a bit of everywhere.
Bit everywhere, wasn't it? Yeah,
Even
yeah.
I think if you just put slicks onto mine, whether it'd be if the suspension would work with slicks, I'd probably go another couple of seconds quicker, I'd have thought.
I say that was only the position, so we still got to look at the lap times. But what were your thoughts on lap time in that?
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
I reckon he'll be 4 seconds up the road than me.
I reckon more.
Yeah.
You reckon more?
Oh, that's a conservative. We'll find
Right,
out.
we'll go RACELOGIC and we'll find out with that then.
Let's have a look.
I reckon it's 7.
Oh!
7 seconds. We'll find out. There's a beer on that. So I've got the times in my hand from Stuart Hoy over there, and basically I've got the times for the track for both cars. Now, I'll speak to Martin first. Mark, how do you feel? We had a bit of a discussion, which everyone would have seen on camera.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What do you feel like your fastest time was? I don't know if you've spoken to some of the other drivers today. You got a rough idea?
Nah, 119 maybe, if I'm lucky.
Right. And you were confident. Do you think, I mean, obviously you felt like you could improve during the day. I mean, there was a lot of things you said.
I improved through the day, during the day already, which I was pleased with. But obviously then when you sort of hear other people's times, you think, I should be going quicker. And then, but I think for me, I think it's the car letting me down now.
But you've seen no telemetry from today, so you've got no idea.
No.
Ryan, how do you feel you went?
Quicker.
Well, there you go, short and sweet.
I don't want to say what lap time though. No, I did.
But yeah,
I don't think
so
I-
you have some data in your car that you
Yeah, we've seen it already.
Martin, your time was 1:21.83.
Oh, blimey, okay, slower then.
Yeah, so 1:21.83 was your fastest time today.
Yeah.
Which we've discussed, obviously, some of the improvements that you can make there, and you were saying about the car, and there's a lot of stuff that you can improve on. Actually, which you already know, your time was 1:14.63. Does that match up with what you guys had?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Almost exactly. So that is 7 seconds on the table for numerous, like as we discussed. There's a lot of different factors coming into play here. It surprised me a bit. I thought it was going to be very much closer, but when you started to describe it opened my eyes to some of the stuff you described about suspension and the horsepower, isn't it?
Like before coming here today, I thought it'd be closer than what it was, and I thought it would be close. But then after seeing Darkside's car and following it around, yeah,
that's interesting to see that you could see the difference. You could physically see the difference rather than just what on paper. Yeah, that's a huge difference, and that is back to how the cars are. We discussed earlier the differences in how horsepower doesn't make the car. It's the driving ability, and it's the skill of how the car's set up. So there you have it, everybody. That is the difference in what can happen in how a car's set up and the different cars on this track. We're going to be at Blyton Park next time we do this. We've got some other cars lined up. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. This is something a little bit different for us. If you've got any comments, like, share, and subscribe. If there's anything else that you feel we could improve on, or other different cars that we want to compare, we really want to show you, because we think that this is something we can bring to the table in terms of what we're doing for media. So again, if you like what we do, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell when you can. Martin, thank you very much for today. Ryan, thank you very much. It's been a great day. It's going to rain, so we're going to knock it on the head now. That's your lot.
But I'm falling with both eyes closed when I let the world spin. Testing the water, she got my nerves tense. Back when I ain't even have a purpose, I was so eager to learn some things. Anxiety bring out the worst in me. Society paint me as enemy. My niggas making it by that remedy. I'm more occasional, don't do it regularly. Backs under my eyes, weighing down heavily. Mama been worried, the devil allegedly